Hi, I'm Dylan Patterson, and this is my guest, Jacob Bartolotta.
Hi, I'm Jacob.
So I just kind of want to start off this podcast by asking my guests a few questions about some current events that are going on. Just kind of get the ball rolling on the topic. So, Jacob, what are your thoughts on some of the events that are brought up recently in the news? Starting off with people calling for Joe Biden to be banned from the presidential race for being a racist boomer.
Um, I've always been kind of a big fan. Well, not a big fan, but I've always been a fan of Biden. Haven't liked him so much recently, and I think there's other better candidates. So, let's see.
And did you read anything about that on any news sources or
Oh no,
no?
I get most of my news from Twitter.
Okay, cool. All right. Second, what do you think about the Trump impeachment process? And are you happy that Trump's finally being impeached?
Um, I think it's been a little messy so far. There's a lot of tension between both Democrats and Republicans, so it's been kind of tough to keep up with it because a lot of it's just so opinion based. Um, I don't like Trump and I don't like Pence, so I don't want to see him get impeached because I don't like Pence just as much as I don't like Trump.
Okay.
So I'd rather have a dumbass than someone. Oh, can I swear?
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
Yeah, you can.
than someone who knows what they're actually doing.
All right. And lastly, what are your thoughts about the first woman recently going to the moon?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah. You think it's been good for impactful for women's rights movements and things like that, especially in the STEM field being very male dominated?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's it speaks volumes to lead up to other people, letting them know that there's so much more out there to other women, and yeah.
Great. So the last one was entirely fake. The second one, the impeachment process has not happened yet. It's just kind of being talked about. And no one is trying to ban Joe Biden from the presidential race because you can't really do that. You can just kind of get taken out as it goes on. So what I'm talking about today is faking cultural literacy. Sorry to kind of throw you under the bus for that. I don't know if you've seen Live Witness News on any of the late night shows, but
I've not. It shows how good of an American I'm being.
Right, and it's something that a lot of people do. It's not something that's new. It's a theory that's out there. Cultural literacy. People fake cultural literacy very frequently, and that's kind of the point of this. So just kind of give a definition of what cultural literacy is. Our class definition from E.D. Hirsch is the ability to understand and participate fluently in a given culture. And a practical definition of that by Hirsch, according to the Western Sydney University, is that you have cultural literacy when you know what an average number of that culture would be expected to know, which is usually assumed and often unstated. So kind of the focus of this is that it is a problem, that faking cultural literacy is something that a lot of people do, obviously not just you. It's something that happens very frequently in the workplace, with bosses, things like that. So actually an article by Bulow, Hansen, and Hoffman titled Serious Reading, Internet, and the Development of Social Interest talks about the need to be culturally literate so as to fit in and not appear culturally illiterate. This creates a pressure to consume media at a high speed and in a range of topics via social media, limiting the ability of people to now engage in deep information processing. So I don't know if you agree with that, that people just don't really...
that just really came from me right
now.
Yeah.
People don't usually read too much into things. It's very much base knowledge. You got to kind of skate through life knowing a majority of topics and not very much about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I would state, and let me know if you think that I'm kind of on topic with this, is the problem that's created here is a social pressure to have base knowledge on almost all subjects at all times. There's a consistent need to consume high volumes of information at all times, creating a need to be more of a jack of all trades and knowledge with little deep knowledge of any subject. And Carl Greenfeld uses the term survive when talking about the social interactions in his New York Times article from the class. And I'd also argue this can affect health, as well as it creates a space to promote false communication, just in general.
I agree. Yeah. Just proven right now,
yeah.
I'm pretty bad. I do not read.
I don't
But
either.
I have felt pressure because, everybody else is so political, to, keep up with it. But, not me.
So, if someone, brings up a conversation topic or some sort of a current event, do you usually just kind of roll with it and
Yeah,
just get by with it.
Yeah, unless I like completely don't know what people are talking about, then. But yeah, sometimes I'll be like, yeah, this is like, yeah, I know
Just
about
kind of fake it
this.
to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, I know who this person is or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, I need friends, so.
I can respect it. So, sort of bouncing off that problem, I'd argue that there's no growth of knowledge or any real connection in the interactions that fake cultural literacy, especially because a lot of people that have these conversations kind of start to fake on both sides if something else is brought up from the other side. And these conversations and connections, they're all based on lies to fake knowledge, and it creates a trend that causes issues. And I'd say an obvious example of this is faking knowledge in an interview, in a workplace, a class, and that could eventually lead to loss of a job opportunity, lowered respect from your peers, and lowers your credibility in the eyes of your peers. And also, in sort of like a class setting, you can almost fail a test or get incorrect answers by faking like you know things in the course. And and then from the health standing of it, social pressure to gather all this knowledge can lead to higher levels of stress, and it can create psychological health impairments. Like I know personally for me, I've felt a lot of stress when people start talking about something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know all about that, and I just hope to God that they don't bring anything up specific or ask me any specific questions about anything, and then they throw it in my face. Like 100% of the time, I do that because I don't know anything about current events. I don't keep up the stuff. I just got my Twitter back like a week ago. So
yeah, that's the only way I'm reading news.
And then with the health impairments, it's kind of outlined in the article called "Digital Stress over the Lifespan: The Effects of Communication Load and Internet Multitasking on Perceived Stress and Psychological Health Impairments in a German Probability Sample." Very long title, but it kind of outlines the negative sides on health related to social pressures of this high level involvement. And it states that both the social pressure as well as the fear of missing out make internet users more susceptible to computer-mediated conversation behavior that ultimately increases their risk of stress and the psychological health impairments. So it's proven that having to fake all this stuff because of the social pressures, and you feel like you're going to miss out on stuff from the internet and your conversations, it's going to increase your risk of stress and further impairments psychologically.
Yeah, I got FOMO.
Yeah, I did too. Like I feel like I have to be included when people are talking about stuff, even if I have no idea what's happening, just so I feel like I'm in it some way or another. So some of the arguments that I have to try and to solve this, I think it's very upfront. It's very easy. A very easy solution would be to just start feeling comfortable and accepting that we don't know everything. If someone makes a reference to something, it's okay to step up and speak up about that and say, hey, I have no idea what that means. Can you explain it to me? Because I feel like if you do something like that, it will sort of create a wave to show other people that they can be upfront about their lack of knowledge on stuff, and it's okay to not know everything. And at that point, it helps open you up to learning more about stuff and creating a deeper connection rather than just sort of skating by and trying to fake that connection, because realistically, in my opinion, you're not really going to connect on any level if you're just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. You know?
Yeah.
And I think the only reason that people fake as much as they do is because everyone does that now. It's just a norm and a pressure to act like you know everything. And then second, I think taking the time to accept that it's hard to consume all this media is really big. So being well-read and knowledgeable on one specific topic or a range of topics that you actually care about, so that you know what to talk about and you know what you are talking about, rather than just trying to consume everything and sort of be base level knowledge on everything. You'll have more of the knowledge on specific things that you care about, so that you can actually add to a conversation and have that conversation and help to make other people more knowledgeable as well. And then finally, according to the Cisco Visual Networking Index that was cited in the Bulow article from earlier, by 2017, each person will average about 5 devices with internet access. So I'd say limiting the amount of information coming in general will sort of help center that focus and that deep information processing that we lack. Like, I don't know how many devices you have that connect to the internet, but I've got a phone, a computer, PS4 connects to the internet.
I have 4 on 5 right now.
Yeah, so it's just like that's a lot coming in
I'm
all
already
the
at the
time,
average.
all at once. Yeah, literally. And that was just from a couple years ago that they thought it'd be five devices per person. So I'm sure it's probably only going up from there as you get like more stuff, like Apple Watches, stuff like that. Yeah,
I have
it's just
6.
it's consistent, especially with the watch. It's just always coming in.
If you include Alexa over there.
Yeah.
7.
7.
Mm,
So that's a lot of noise coming in from a lot of different areas. It's just doesn't allow you to keep the focus that you might need to process information on a deeper level. And as someone who struggles with focus, like I'm medicated for focus, things like that, I've benefited personally from just taking everything as much as I can out of the way, or like going to the computers at the library, so I'm not on my phone or getting notifications from my computer, things like that. That's helped me a lot to actually get my stuff done and take in all the information I need. So I think that would be a fantastic further solution to sort of limit all this noise and actually know what you're talking about and be able to focus on things rather than having to fake everything as you make it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's all I had. Thank you, Jacob, for participating in this and letting me sort of fool you around at the start of it.
Yeah, I was kind of shook. I was like, as after you said it was fake, I was like I actually did not like looking back, like that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, literally. But it's just you feel the pressure. You got to go with it. All right, that's it. Thank you.